Hello everyone, I'm Skratch. Welcome to the channel. This is another Raid Shadow Legends video. Today, we're gonna talk about the fusion champions and not necessarily the panda, just the rest of them. Like what champions you should keep from this fusion if you're not completing the legendary one. Now, you might have different reasons. Maybe you don't want to get a champion. Maybe you don't have enough resources. And if you are going for this champion, most probably you're progressing through the game. He's gonna help your progression, how I mentioned in the previous videos. He's pretty solid for progression. Or you might be a Pokemon collector and you want to get him for that specific reason. Now, we do have a couple of awesome rare champions in here. We have an awesome epic, and I really think you should consider them, especially if you're not going for the legendary champion, because they will help you with progression a lot. Now, legendary champions do require legendary skill tomes, guys, so it is quite a bit of a work to make them work. All these skills, are not as efficient if they're not fully booked. The passive, yes, is pretty interesting to transfer debuffs and stuff, but honestly, you're gonna need books for the rest of the kit to really make him work, So the rest of the champions that I do want to point out, we have a couple of rares. We have this one right here, which is the Skinwalker. We have this one right here from the Demon Spawn. And of course, we have this Night Revenant Epic. Now, I'm quickly going to jump on the test server, guys, where I have access to the champions. I built them. So starting with the Epic champion, guys, in my opinion, he's going to be a massive carry, not only for Faction Wars, but he can help you in the Doom Tower. He can help you in the dungeons. If you're progressing and you're looking for a reviver, he actually has a pretty solid kit. With the A1, he has a chance to steal a random buff from the target. With the A2, attacks all enemies. This makes him a decent option for a stun set if you really need that extra help in Faction Wars. Has a 75% chance, fully booked, 100% chance to decrease the duration of all enemy buffs by 1 turn. Will be awesome for the boss on stage 21 on Faction Wars. Even in Arena, if you want to decrease some buffs from the enemies, is going to be a decent option. Also has 100% chance, fully booked, of increasing the duration of all ally buffs by 1 turn. Now, 1 year ago, we didn't have many champions that were increasing the duration of buffs. I feel like now we have quite a few of them, so I can't really say go get him for this specific skill, because you won't be getting any other champions that increase the duration of buffs. We have quite a few doing it. Then you have the A3, revives 2 random allies with 30% HP and 30% turn meter. Places a shield buff on all revived allies for 2 turns, equal to 30% of these champions' max HP. Now, I have him built on a Resilience, an Immortal, and a Speed set. Total stats, we have 64k HP, 3.1k defense, 229 speed, 260 accuracy. Masteries, we have defense and support 3. Timely intervention as tier 6. I haven't went on offense to get War Master, guys. You want to offer more support to your team. You want to make sure he's getting a lot of turn meter to rotate. Counter attacks can be nice because he can steal buffs. So pretty much that's what we got on him. Accuracy is going to be very helpful. So that's what we have on him. Then moving over to the rare champions, I'm going to point 2 rare champions, how I mentioned, and then we're going to take them in for a spin in a couple of different areas in the game. We do have Meet Carver Toog. He actually looks pretty good as a rare champion, man. Decent skin, I have him built on a Resilience, a couple of speed sets, and the skills on this champion is actually a pretty solid support rare champion. Now, the Skinwalker faction doesn't have many revivers, right? You're gonna have a legendary version, and you're gonna have 1 epic that can revive from this faction. So he's actually gonna be a massive carry if you need help in Faction Wars. You might wanna go for that Lydia before they're introducing a new faction, With the A1, attacks 1 enemy 2 times. Each hit heals this champion by 2% of their max HP. Then places increased defense buff on all allies, the smaller version, and a 15% continuous heal buff on all allies for 1 turn. This is actually a pretty solid skill from a rare champion. Increased defense, AoE, and continuous heal. With the A3, revives an ally with 30% HP and 30% turn meter, and places a continuous heal buff on the revived ally for 1 turn. So you're getting a carry, you're getting a reviver from here. The passive, whenever a 15% continuous heal buff placed by an ally from the Skinwalker faction expires, is removed, or is stolen, places a smaller version of the continuous heal on that ally for 1 turn. If there are multiple champions on the team with this skill, only one will activate. So total stats on him, guys, we have 69k HP. He is a HP based champion, so it's much easier to get the higher HP on him. 2.9k defense, 230 speed, no accuracy, no resistance or anything like that. Just focus on survivability and some speed. Masteries, very similar with what we had on the Epic champion. Timely Intervention as tier 6, and we got Cycle of Revenge as tier 5 right here. Lasting Gifts is going to be very helpful because he buffs quite a bit. You want to get a bit of extra healing. You want to get Thermeter when his buffs, the buffs that he placed expire or they're getting stolen or whatever. You know, so this is going to be a pretty dope rare champion. And we have a Poisoner, Petria Rock Root. So she's from the Demon Spawns. And honestly, I find it hard in 2023 with all the champions that we have available in the game to recommend anyone to 6-star a rare Poisoner just for clan boss. Honestly, Frozen Banshee, she's awesome. I haven't used her probably in like 2,000 years anywhere, even in faction crypts or anywhere like that. Now this rare champion doesn't only bring poisons, it brings poison sensitivity and brings decreased attack and brings defense down and accuracy aura for all battles. So in a way or another, you could potentially get some use out of these champions for secret rooms. You can use her in faction wars if you need a decreased attack champion. She's not really an amazing champion for faction creeps, but she might work a bit. Decent for dragon for progression. With the A1, attacks one enemy 2 times. Each hit has a chance to put defense down for 2 turns. If the target is under poison sensitivity, each hit will have a chance to put a big version of defense down on the enemy. Fairly decent. Now the chance is only at 35%. With masteries you can get it up to 40% chance, but it's each hit, so it does get a bit better than that. Then the A2 is AoE, attacks all enemies 2 times. The first hit has a 100% chance fully booked to land a decreased attack for 2 turns, the smaller version. The second has a 75% chance to land a poison for 2 turns. Then you have the A3, attacks 3 times at random. Each hit has a 25% chance of placing a poison sensitivity debuff for 2 turns. Fully booked, that goes all the way up to 40%. And if all hits land on the same target, also places a 5% poison debuff for 2 turns. So pretty interesting, right? And the accuracy aura for all battles. Now I have her built on a couple of perceptions, an immortal set. Total stats, 40k HP, 2.5k defense, 199 speed. And we have 300 accuracy because we have an accuracy banner and 2 perception sets. So that gives us quite a bit of accuracy. Masteries, we went with War Master as tier 6, Sniper, and we have Master Hexer. Now, I'm not telling you guys go and get these champions because they're going to change your account. They will help you with the progression. And if you are wondering what champions to keep from all of them that you've seen so far, I'm here to show you what you should keep and why basically. So if we're going to head over to the Dragon, that's what we're going to do the very first time. Stage 20 is the right affinity for the champion. If we're going to go on a stage 25, it's going to be weak affinity. And we're going to go in with this team, right? We're going to use all the 3 champions that we actually showcased in terms of stat skills. And we're going to see how well she's performing here. We want to see the Poisoner, right? You see decrease attack, AoE, pretty nice. Landing some poisons, that helps you too. And then, of course, slowly we're just going to have to hammer down the waves. I don't think she has crazy multipliers or anything like that to build her for raw damage, honestly. I feel like that would be a bit of a waste, so I don't want to do that, you know. But there we go again. AoE decrease attack, poisons on everybody, pretty nice. I mean, almost everybody. This is not a 100% chance to do that, unfortunately. That would be amazing. That would be amazing. With Masteries, you get it up to 80% from the AoE. But this champion does bring a lot for clan boss, man. Like, if you're thinking about it, defense down, poison sensitivity, and poisons, right? So it's kind of like 2 champions in one, because usually you need to bring somebody else for defense down. Yes, we do have Fane, we have Ferrokin the Fed, we have Anax, or much stronger champions that will do it much better than this one. But you know what? Is a pretty decent champion to help you progress early on, especially while you're moving on the clan boss ladder, you know, to go into a higher difficulty. I feel like it can benefit you even at level 50, you know. But then if you need it somewhere else, do secret rooms, you might want to use this champion in Faction Wars, is a decent option. I wouldn't personally build a champion just for Faction Wars, you know? But the other two, 100%, yeah. We're gonna do runs with the other two in Faction Wars, guys, just so you guys see how they perform, get an idea of what they could potentially do, you know? It's always nice when you're getting revivers in fusions because, you know what? The majority of people will struggle to get the support for their champions. I feel like we have so many damage dealers in the game and it's so much easier to access damage dealers, you know, that when we are getting support in fusions is great. Like, you want to get them, you want to keep them, especially if you're still progressing through the game, you know. Here we are, not the fastest team, but it's doing the job, you know. It's definitely doing the job, so that's pretty important. Pretty important. And honestly, the legendary fusion, man, like, I'm not even gonna comment much on it. I'm gonna let you guys to get the fusion for whoever is gonna get it, okay? And go do whatever you're planning to do it with the champion and see how it will perform, you know. But here we are. I want to try the Panda in a team with Brogni on the hard difficulty for my Hydra team. I'm using a Corpulent team for a Brutal as well, but I'm using Taras in there, so that gives a lot of damage. But I feel like the Panda could maybe help me to increase a bit the shield more. So here we are, guys. Gallic, 1.3 million damage. AoE, right, he destroyed the waves. Then we have Petria with 1.3 million damage almost as well. 1.2, War Maiden with 1 million. So definitely keeping up the step with the other champions, and I have much better stats on them. Like, let me just quickly show you the stats on my Gallic as an example, you know. So Gallic right here, he has 4.1k attack, full crit rate, 240 crit damage, right? Then we have a War Maiden in a very similar build, if I'm not mistaken. 3.7k attack, 220 speed, full crit rate, 160 crit damage. And they're both in stun set. So the poisons actually had quite a bit of impact. Let's actually head over to Faction Wars. We're going to do a run on each faction and see how well our champions are performing there. Let's start with the Night Revenants because I'm a big fan of the Epic. You can actually get quite a bit of value out of this champion. And he's very, very good for a Doom Tower as a reviver to carry you through the waves if you need. He's good for secret rooms. You can run him in arena as well if you don't have better revivers, honestly, especially at the beginning. And I feel like it's much easier for you guys to collect the 4 rares from events while you're progressing through the game at the beginning and then fuse an epic and just kind of like invest in him. Now, if you already have some crazy support champions available on your account, you might have, I don't know, Rector Dreads, Gorgorabs, Godseeker Aniris, Ursula the Mourners, etc. I wouldn't stress to get him. I wouldn't make him a priority unless you really need him for Faction Wars. And he's so awesome here because if you guys remember what's happening here, those Valkyries will buff, Warcaster will buff. So it will be pretty nice to have a champion that will allow us to decrease the duration of buffs. Now, if it will happen this time around, because I do have a couple of stun sets here and there. There we go. So they buffed. You see, decreases the duration of buffs. We've just done that on the Valkyrie. So that counter attack and shield that they have on is gonna get decreased when we are using the skill from the epic hero. And we're gonna increase the duration of our buffs. Like if we have a shield, if we have increased crit rate, or if we have increased attack from Doom Priest or anything like that, that will actually help us quite a bit when we're using the skill. And then when you get at the boss steals buffs from you. It's very important to either remove them or, depending on what buffs it steals from you, if it steals increased attack, is dangerous because the boss deals a lot of damage, you know, decreases the buffs again. So that Valkyrie lost all her buffs. So I really think that this champion is so awesome for this specific stage, honestly, because of everything that he does, you know. Let's just wait for the boss to steal some buffs from us. So there you go. It stole all those buffs, right? The boss now has increased crit rate and increased attack. So it can actually smack us quite a bit. It can actually smack us quite a bit. And there we go. We decreased the duration of buffs on the boss. So he shouldn't have them. There we go. Job done. And yeah, the boss won't hammer us down like crazy anymore. If somebody dies, guess what? We have a revive, which is very, very beneficial too. And it just came in play instantly. There we go, increases the duration of buffs. Now, you might argue it and say, well, I don't want my buffs increased because the boss is gonna steal them again. And in a way, yeah, I kind of feel that point too, you know, because that will happen. So now the boss is gonna steal the HP. Oh, the boss didn't steal the HP. Can we revive? Okay, so we have Thermeter. We could actually end the boss before it's taking another turn. Ah, no, we don't have enough damage. And we have no Thermeter manipulation whatsoever, unfortunately. And yeah, okay, I was sure that this was gonna happen. The boss was gonna steal my my HP. I needed that Faceless to use the A3 before, but he didn't, you know. Okay, so we lost our 2 heroes. But so far, he's doing the carry, right? Like he's reviving, putting that shield up on the heroes when they're coming back to make sure that they're not dead meat after. If I would have a bit of extra healing in here, would be great. He would be a pretty good champion built on a regeneration set to stay alive, you know, so you wouldn't have to worry about it. Because he was pretty risky there, right? Like he was almost losing it. I don't have them extremely tanky either. I kind of like went for like more average-ish gear. And right now the boss has unkillable. Just imagine that he's about to use the A2 skill or something, and then luckily he comes in and decreases the cooldown as an idea or something else. So he didn't do any damage or anything like that, but he offered us a massive support in here. We had a massive carry from him. He revived quite a few times, and funny enough, if I was timing it to revive at this point, we were gonna get 3 stars on this without a problem. Malkit is actually an awesome epic champion, and I would suggest you to keep a copy if you're not going for the legendary version, or try to get a copy because you're not gonna regret it when you're gonna get to these faction creeps, and even in dungeons, man. Like he's gonna be a pretty good carry. Now, if we're gonna go over to the Skinwalkers, I do have to use a legendary, guys, as a damage dealer because I have no other champions built from this faction that can do damage. I can't go with Rain Beast because he's putting too many continuous heals, so that's gonna be a problem. And we're gonna go in like this. We're gonna see how well this hero will perform in here. He's gonna be a carry in terms of revivers, right? Like he's the only reviver we have in here. And when we are at the boss, we're gonna want to make sure we are not allowing him to constantly buff, because if he's doing that, what's gonna happen is that the boss will steal the continuous heals, you know, so we gotta make sure we're not allowing them to do that, you know. That will just make the run longer. Not impossible, we'll just make it longer. Let's target that Paragon just in case. Even though we have crowd control and everything that we need to deal with his skill, we don't want to get delayed in here, because why should we, basically, you know? Why do we want to get delayed? Okay, there we go. Nalhorn dropping in with that provoke. Awesome rare champion as well, actually. Pretty solid for a lot of secret rooms. I'm loving him because of that provoke. You want to stop his unkillable at the boss because the boss will still unkillable too, so that's another thing to keep in mind. There we go. So we're done with the waves. We needed a bit of help in here from Cleopteryx because I had no damage before. Like, Fane can deal a bit of damage, but nothing too crazy, you know? So right here, I want to make sure he's not buffing all the time, you know? Because that's going to be important. Provoke doesn't really do much here on the ad. So now we can let him buff. It's not a problem. The main thing is to ensure that the boss doesn't steal those buffs from us. Okay. So once we're killing that, nice. We can focus more on the boss. These bosses are pretty annoying. These specific ones, in Faction Wars, because they're stealing the buffs, they're stealing your HP, you know, and they're keeping you in a fight for quite a while. And if you don't have enough damage, you won't be able to beat this boss because it's constantly gonna get this skill back on cooldown and steal your HP again, you know, and that's pretty annoying. So we want to make sure we're not buffing now. I'm gonna use the A1 instead. We really don't want to buff right now because the boss will kind of like wreck us, you know. Steal all the continuous heals, and that's gonna be a problem. So here we go. You see, we are getting pretty low on some of the heroes, so hopefully we're not gonna get completely hammered. All those poisons, man. Stop putting them. There we go. He put so many. My poor Fane is going down. My poor Fane is going down. Oh, increase accuracy. That's fine. Doesn't matter. Okay, we lost Fane. Cleopteryx, she's gonna go down too. I feel like even with a continuous heal, it might not be enough, but let's see. It might not be enough. That's fine. We're gonna have to revive, and I'm gonna revive Fane here just because she's bringing the decreased attack, and that's gonna help us a bit more. Oh no, we lost her again. That's fine. Fane, she is pretty squishy, right? So let's see. We're gonna get a revive back in a moment. That's not a problem. The problem is to don't lose that continuous heal. That's fine. Okay, there we go. Let's use the other skill instead. I feel like it will be a better choice, you know? It will be a better choice. My god, all the extra turns. And look, he's putting so many poisons. Akempton, what are you doing? What are you doing? You're trying to ruin me, Akempton. There we go. Fane, please. Please, Fane, do some magic. Put some more poisons as well, and let's wreck this boss. So, right now, I could go and do this, defense down and weaken, or I could go and do this. I feel like she has Thermometer Manipulation on a skill, right? Or I might be remembering that wrong. Defense down and weaken, man. Let's try this. Oof. So close. Now, the boss will steal HP from us. That's what's gonna happen right now. Yeah, and it actually went on Fane. That's even better, because I was worried that he's gonna take my reviver down, you know? Look how many debuffs we have on. It's crazy. But this is a long run, guys, but it's doable. So, you just have to time it a bit better here because of the champions, the buffs, and everything else that comes in play with this particular boss. But we're not gonna have an issue with the damage because we have so many poisons that is just crazy. Crazy. Let's get the Cleopteryx up and running. Hopefully she's gonna stay alive. Clearly not. I cannot buff right now because the boss is gonna steal all those things from me. Oh, she had Thermometer Manipulation on the A1, man. I don't know why I remember that was the A2 or A3, and then I was like, okay, maybe she doesn't. Maybe I just remember it wrong. Let's use the extra turn. Of course, you're gonna give me extra turn and put like 100 more poisons to kill all my team. There we go. There we go. I don't want to use this or this. I want to go with the A1 now again. Okay, this and them. Oh, that's so close. So right now, we're just gonna do a carry, guys. We're gonna do a carry, and again, we're gonna revive that Fane, and bang, we got the job done. Tolog did a pretty good amount of healing here, guys. Akempton, Fane did a decent job with the damage, you know. I thought that we were gonna get wrecked there at the point because we were like, ugh. Of course, if you are building your team a bit differently, you might use different champions here and there. More helpful champions, some other support next to him to kind of like help you keep the team alive. You're not gonna be in this situation, you know. But that was all for this video, guys. I just wanted to show you how are these three heroes performing, and I really think that you should consider them. If you're not going for the legendary version, you might be able to pick one of them from an event or something like that. So keep your eyes open for them. Appreciate every single one of you guys watching. Much love, and I'll catch you all soon in the next video. Peace.